Good afternoon to all. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and it's nice to have the opportunity to talk with you with this mission. We are delighted to hear from you the last 2 days. This morning we had, in fact, nice talks, and we had the opportunity to know much better about your country, the innovation and the institution. And now I have the hard exercise to talk about innovation after Minister Serres and the Minister Seattle. And look, we are talking about the Pernambuco and the numbers that Dr. Minister Serres had is something about the big scenario in the country. We are just in a moment of change. If you compare, in fact, our numbers with just 10 years back, is something quite distinct, and also in this state. And before we have to talk about the innovation in this state, I would like to say to you that since the beginning, when the Portuguese came here in 1500, until recently, we were a sugarcane state. The sugarcane industry was, in fact, the main economic powerhouse in this region, and by the 1520s, we started, in fact, to export the sugar to Lisbon and to other European markets. And in the last century, for, let me say, from 1930 until very recently, we were in we had very hard times here, because the sugar industry was not in very good shape, and what we saw was, in fact, the jobs going out, the young people without any hope, and many of young going to the south or to the other countries. So now let us see what we have to say to you. We are going to share with you about a few points here. The University College and Technological Institute. One thing that we saw day before yesterday, but in our opinion is extremely important for us, in fact, to keep in mind that this SWAP, that industrial and port complex, our research, development and innovation support agents, and the information communication technology in the state of Pernambuco. Okay, and let us talk about the system. In the last 2 days, we had the opportunity to pay a visit to 2 institutions, 2 very important institutions. One is the Federal University of Pernambuco, and the other was the State University of Pernambuco. And we had the opportunity to talk with the deans, to the professors, the directors, and we hope that we can have, in fact, the chance to put together, in fact, the faculties and the students. We had not had the opportunity to pay a visit, for example, for another 2 federal universities that we have here in the States. One is the agriculture-based university, the Rural Federal University of Pernambuco, and the other one that is just in the west side of the state, in the city of Petrolina, around 750 kilometers from here. That's quite the one that is the Univaso. And so, one thing that is quite distinct from what we said this morning is that while in Finland we had, in fact, to merge, and we have, in fact, even to close some schools, here we have to expand. And in the last 10 years, we had to have, in fact, 14 new universities in Brazil, and 110 new campus, I mean expansion of the existing universities. And apart from this expansion, the federal government had a program that we call ProUni that allows young people from the public schools to go into the private universities. And today we have almost 800,000 young people doing this. So in the last few years, we had quite a huge movement of putting young people in Brazil to the technical schools and to the universities. Just before the university, he was concentrated in Recife. So young people from, let me say, a city 500 kilometers from here had quite a difficult to come here to study. And today we have universities and campus throughout the state. Okay. The second system that I'm talking about is about the federal institutes. Also, previously, we had in fact one institute here in Recife and a few other ones. And then we talk about engineering, computer, and information technology. So we had this expansion, and we have today at least seven campuses where we can find technological course in those areas throughout the state. We can see the expansion. This morning we have the director of one of the most important institutes on the Ipojuca, where we have the naval engineer course, but it's the second system that I will talk with you. And one thing that we didn't discuss here is about the private education system in engineering, computer, and technology. Until very few years, we had trouble in having engineers from the school. Engineers is a very hard course everywhere. And for example, in our school here, we start with, let me say, 100 students in the first year of a mechanical engineer, and we had just a few. I mean that the same was in the state university, because there was no hope and there was no job. And half of the young people quit in the first year, half in the second year, and when you came to the end was 6 to 7 from 100. Today is quite distinct, because the young people go to school and would like to finish as soon as possible because they have the opportunities. And this reflects in the number of colleges and the public universities that started also the engineering course in the last 10 years. So we have the public university of Pernambuco, University, and the other quite a few numbers of colleges offering engineering course that we also didn't talk about this during the visit. Okay, so it's something like a broad scenario of what means this. We have already around the 57 graduate course in this state. The enrollment, almost 3,000 young people going to the engineering every year. And we have here quite a number of institutions that are offering, or start to offer, in fact, the engineering course. The postgraduate programs in engineering and exact sciences is also the same. Here we have the northeastern states, and you can find that the state of Pernambuco is the most traditional state in engineering and exact. So I'm sure that we have plenty of room to interact with the Finnish institutions. Graduate student enrollment is the same. In fact, in the last few years, one of the, let me say, the tough questions in Brazil is how can we have, in fact, enough engineers, not only for SWAC, but for the other states that are also moving quite fast in industry. And so here is the number of the state of Pernambuco, and it's something very nice for you to know that you are in the state, in the region, that we have in fact the most traditional care for the engineer and technology. The PhD professionals also, we are just second after Bahia State, but the universities and the technological institutes, we have quite a number. We grew, I mean, not as fast as Bahia, but we grew quite a lot in the last few years. And I hope that the years to come we can have like many young people in the universities and the technical institutes. Okay, apart from the schools, we have the institutes and the research institutions Today we had the opportunity to pay a visit to one, that's CETENE, we have here, Dr. Alan Beck showed you what is the Strategic Institute for the Brazilian Northeast. We have the second one where Dr. Frederico, the president, is here, and myself also from the Institute. We had the opportunity to be there the day before yesterday. That's the Technological Institute of Pernambuco. And we have an Agricultural Research Institute and the ITEP and the IPA, despite of the institutions in Brazil to be very young. ITEP is complete 70 years old, IPA is 76 years old, and so for the Brazilian standard, it is quite a number, because our most important university in Brazil is almost at the same age. We have here also a lot of new institutes that are being settled in Pernambuco at this moment. Dr. Marcos Pereira is there, and we talk about INTM, the National Institute of Welding and Joint Materials. And since that the mechanical engineer and the metal mechanics is something extremely important, the INTM is the flagship for our policy at this moment, and we hope that very soon we can have, in fact, the Institute doing very nice. The Institute will be located in the Federal University of Pernambuco, but is a consortium of the University and Institute, includes CETENE, ITEP, the State University of Pernambuco, and the other schools in Brazil. We have the National Center for High Performance Processing, the Environment Modeling Studies and Risk Studies, and the oil and gas. We have been SWAP, and SWAP is being the place for the technological park in metal mechanics. Yesterday, our team was there just, in fact, to starting their work on how, in fact, we go to have our park, and the assembly and construction center in the State University of Finland. So we have the old one, the established one, but we have quite a few new centers of science and technology that are being located just now in our state. Day before yesterday, also we had the opportunity to pay a visit for one of our technological park, that was the Architect. And also for the Porto Digital, that I consider a consolidated one, because we have around 200 companies that's already working with Porto Digital. The Parquitel, we are considering that it's something that's being consolidated. We have the metal mechanic that will be in SWAP, and the pharmaceutical and the chemistry park to be in Goiânia. The institution can be very strong because we know your capability, and then we show that we can have quite a lot here working together in this coast. Okay, this we solve. You visit, but I'm insisting that we cannot be back to Finland without keep this very hard in mind, because this is the change. This is something that everybody here expected for years and many years. And now we are, in fact, looking and witnessing, in fact, the things moving in a quite distinct way. So, for this, we have to know that we are in a place where we demand science, we demand technology, we demand cooperation, and also that we are plenty of opportunities. Opportunities for the technical talking, opportunities for business talking. And this is something that is a message that I would like to emphasize from this. And that if you decide, or any Finnish companies decide to be in Pernambuco, you are in a very strategic place when you compare with the Brazilian Northeast. We are close to the main capital, 800 kilometers from the two most important cities, apart from Recife, that's Fortaleza and Salvador. And so, and as the Minister Secretary told you, the most close place to Finland. So we have just straight away. Dr. Silvio Line showed why, in fact, the swap is something distinct as a whole, because we have the technicalities that enable swap to be, in fact, one of the best and the most effective port in Brazil. This is something that I would like also to emphasize. So, if we have the university, the technical institutes, the new institutes, if we have a new moment, and if we have, in fact, the agents that are supporting the research and developing the innovation in Brazil, so for us, in fact, we have quite a good moment and a nice environment for us, in fact, to share the things better and to have the opportunity to put together, in fact, the people that are in this room and the program, in fact, many others that could not have the opportunity to pay a visit to Pernambuco yet. And so we have the FACEP, where we have our president, Dr. Geraldo Eugenio, and our minister. Before he became a minister, he was also the president of FACEP, so he cares quite a lot the institution. Finland, CNPQ, the Bank of Northeast, the Bank of Brazil, and the BNDES. So what I say is that you have, in fact, the agents that helps, in fact, the companies to be established in Finland or outside, abroad. And we have also quite a number of institutions here that can match, in fact, the values and work together in this direction. This state foundation for advancement of science that Dr. Eugenio today is the president, and Dr. Sergio was the president, you can see that in the last few years, the government of the state of Pernambuco is boosting quite a lot the support. And is saying that science and technology is something extremely important for this state, because here we have this humid area, that's 15% of the state, and the whole remaining area of Pernambuco is the semi-arid. And so if you have the northern in Finland, that's quite cold. We have the western side in Pernambuco that's quite dry. So that's the challenge that we have. And if we have this challenge, we can say that only science and technology can change, in fact, the life of these 8.3 million people that we have here. As we listened day before yesterday, Dr. Frederick is here. Today we have quite a network of broadband throughout the state, so it makes it easy for us, in fact, to enhance the teaching, the business capability throughout the state. And also we have, in fact, we are ready to have, in fact, a very strong system of distance learning in any place in the state of Pernambuco. Now, I know that we will have Dr. Fernando a good discussion to see, in fact, how can we wrap up the seminar today. But I would like, in fact, to have this point. What can be expected from this mission? And in my opinion, from the public sector, I mean, from university to university, we have to implement the memorandum of understanding that also described. Because in many cases, the memorandum of understanding is subscribed from all, and after 1 year, 2 years, we have nothing. To consolidate an agreement between the Finnish university and the institutions of the state of Pernambuco. I think that this will be fine. And we have the students that are moving to Finland the next semester. And to develop a long-term exchange program for professionals and students, because, as I told some of you, one of the things that made, in fact, we, as Brazil, to be quite close with the United States was the number of Brazilians in Brazil that went to the United States and the number of Americans that we received here, and this is, in fact, is the best way how we keep together people. We from the private sector side to bring together Finnish and Brazilian entrepreneurs that we talked here all this morning and this afternoon, and to establish a mechanism of cooperation between the Finnish Southwest Center of Economic Development, Innovation and Transportation and the Intercity authorities. with the private organizations, the town councils, and the state of Pernambuco people. This is what I expected in the next few months. I would like to acknowledge the help of quite a few people that had the opportunity to give us the information that we able to make this presentation. Dr. Simões, Fátima, Cabral, Dr. Arnaldo Gama, Frederico Toscano, Pedro Alcântara Neto, Amanda, Carlos Bristol e Luiz Rodrigues. And this is what I'd like to say, and thank you very much for your visit.